Alright, so this is probably the last video with the 350 in my 77 Chevy. It's been a good motor. It's got about 40,000 miles on it, give or take. Original, never been rebuilt, never been opened up, anything like that. And I just wanted to do something a little bit different and get a little bit better mileage. So I had two options. I could go fuel injection with like an LS style motor, or go with a TBI 350 setup, put it on this motor. But I'd still only be getting around 15, and you know, the power would be increased but not a ton. Honestly, the quadrojets worked great. I've had this thing like almost on its side, straight up and down on hills. It's never stalled. This thing runs awesome. It's a great motor. I'm going to hold on to it for now. 4-bolt main 350 with the high nickel block. You don't see them too much. And this one is factory emissions exempt because it's in a heavy half ton. So being that it's got no EGR, none of that crap. Never had cats, any of that stuff. So what's going in? This right here. I'm still working on cleaning it up and painting it. But this is a 6.2 diesel out of a M1009 CUCV Army truck. Has 14,000 original miles on it. Don't know how many hours of runtime, but still 14,000 original miles. Very clean. Everything came apart really easy. So this is going in. And now I'm just going to do some valve cover gaskets, oil pan gaskets, finish painting it, and then I'm going to reinstall all the fun diesel stuff like the intake, injection lines, flywheel, exhaust, and all that crap. So that'll be cool. We'll get injection, fuel injection, mechanical fuel injection, very simple. It's like a 2-wire to run setup. And we'll also be getting better fuel economy. With the 373s and 35-inch tires, with the 4-speed, we should be getting around 20 and up on the highway. So it should be a pretty good improvement. More importantly, my range per tank is going to increase, so I can actually go farther on a 16-gallon tank. Just a little bit about how I've been painting this motor and how I paint all my motors, or engines rather. What I use is POR 15, the aluminum, and I got brush bristles in all my paint here that I gotta pick out and touch up, but the aluminum one, it's silver, it's got aluminum pigment, so it fills in any kind of voids in the casting pretty well. And then you let that get tacky, and then you spray your top coat on top. And what that does is it makes a really hard, durable surface. It won't peel, and it doesn't get all like spotty like a lot of just like rattle can paints will. So I do that, then coat it with the alpine green on top, and it really comes out pretty nice. Right now you can see that the oil pan looks like crap. That's because that's going to get pulled off and painted separate, as well as the valve covers, just because I want to take my time and make them really look nice, just for a better end product. I figure if you're going to go through the hassle of putting an engine in a truck, especially when it doesn't need an engine, you might as well do it really nice. I'm also going to do a custom wiring harness for the glow plugs and everything. So the way that you see this engine bay right now is pretty much exactly how it's going to look, except with the 6.2. I'm going to paint the firewall while I have it out. This truck was originally black, so nothing really tricky to do there. Just going to scuff it and shoot it. But as you can see right now, I have very minimal wiring going around the engine bay, and everything's kind of loomed and wrapped up nice and organized, and that's kind of how I want to keep it, because it's a lot easier to have something very simple and clean if you have a problem than it is to have something where you got to go through and try to troubleshoot stuff when you have hacked wiring and all that crap. So shrink wrap on everything, soldered connections, do it the right way. To do the swap, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull off my winch bumper, and then I'm going to pull off this entire front clip as one piece. Really easy on these trucks. There's a couple bolts back there, one down there, and then the two front radiator support mounts bolts. The hood is actually built into the fenders on this era. Up until about 80, they did that. So pretty much unhook a couple lines, a little bit of wiring, maybe about 8 bolts, and the whole front clip can come off as one unit. And in doing that, it'll save me a bunch of time. It'll also give me a lot of good access for when I pull this motor out and when I put the new one in. So make it really easy, because lining up the transmission to that diesel is going to be a real hassle, I can already tell. So that's where I'm at with this one, guys. Should be hoping to have this pulled out on Sunday and painted, and then I'll be able to put the new diesel in. I'm just waiting on motor mounts right now. I went with the DIY 4X ones instead of the factory clamshell style because they suck. And going with a big block radiator. This right here is a small block radiator. I think it's a 2 or 3 core. I'm going with a 4 core big block, and then an external transmission cooler. Stock exhaust will work, so we're just going to bolt that up. I do have a turbo set up for it, but I'm not going to put that on right now. Figure get it in all naturally aspirated, get her up and running, and then we'll go from there as far as turbos and all that fun stuff. So, stay tuned. This will be the only one of the 6.2 diesel swaps in this era truck I've seen done on YouTube with detail. I'm going to talk about any problems I run into on anything, radiator fitment, all that stuff, because people have done them, but nobody's really documented how they did it, and I figured it probably would be helpful to somebody. Kind of the best motor choice, really. I really wanted a 4BT, can't afford it. 6BT is just too dang heavy for what I'm using this truck for, so this is pretty much the best swap I can do with the funds I have available to me. I'm going to be running the box filter up there on the firewall. It's in good shape, so I'm just going to use it.